So let's move on to the first part. The first thing that you're going to see is the standardized State of New York YMCA Youth in Government title, and then it says bill number, and don't worry about the bill number because that'll be assigned to you later on. For right now, when you're writing your bills, keep it blank. The next part is the introduced by. This is where you're going to put your name, your friend's name, whoever you're working with. Make sure everybody's names are there because when you get questions on if your bill sponsors are present, this is the information we look to see if everybody's standing with you when you go to present. The next part is an enact, and that's the title, what we talked about in the first portion of the video. So in your title or your enact, you're going to write after the to. You can write amend, change, any of those words as long as you indicate that you're changing something or that you're adding something, use any of those verbs. In this amend section, the title of the bill is to amend section 30313 of the Environmental Conservation Law by adding subsection 8 to legalize hydraulic fracturing. Now, a lot of your bills might not be that complicated. It could simply be something that says to amend section, whatever section of the original law you have, to do this. And it can just basically be set up in that way. And as long as you have to amend or to change or to add a section of a law in your title, it's perfectly fine. Your title, you're going to see the people of the state of New York represented in the Senate and Assembly do enact as follows. As soon as you see that, you're going to go right below it and start typing in. So the first thing you're going to work on is your purpose. In this purpose, it reads, the purpose of this bill is to legalize the process of hydraulic fracturing in the state of New York. Again, make sure you're putting your purpose in, not this purpose. Then you move on to your summary provisions and see how every single time you type something in, the numbers come up. As soon as you type and you move on down the line, if the number comes up, you're doing it right. So keep going. In this summary provisions, they have section 1 and they have some definitions. So remember how I was telling you guys that definitions could be complicated words or things you want to clarify to everybody? Here are some examples of some words that these bill sponsors chose to clarify in their section 1 definitions. Hydraulic fracturing, EPA. Again, that's an agency, and if you want to define an important agency in your bill, make sure you put that in your definitions because that could either promote your bill or make people be taken aback by your bill because you're not telling everybody what the bill really does and organizations that promote it. You can get these organizations when you do your memorandum. So the next section of this bill is the justifications. Here in their justifications, they have one paragraph with a few sentences in it that goes into a little bit of detail about what their bill looks to accomplish. I'll read you guys the first line. In 2010, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency estimated that 70 to 140 billion gallons of water are used to fracture 35,000 wells in the United States each year. Now, these bill sponsors chose to start with a fact. You don't have to do that. As long as you grab your reader's attention and then you move on to facts, you'll be very successful. Remember, don't spoil all of your facts in your justifications. Only include a few that you think are really important, and you can even reiterate those in your opening and closing summations. But just remember that people are going to be reading these most times when you're doing your opening and closing summations and when you're presenting your bill. So it might be good to have a variation of facts. Moving on to your fiscal implications. Now for this particular bill I have up here, they didn't have any fiscal implications, but that doesn't mean that you won't. Make sure you can have a full sentence that explains how much money your bill is going to cost, and under fiscal implications is where you're going to include that information. Lastly, we have the effective date. In this particular bill, they state that this bill will go into effect immediately after passage. Now, just because this particular bill sponsor group decided to put their bill immediately after passage, you don't necessarily have to do the same thing. You can do it within a year, within a few months, even a few weeks, as long as it suits your bill. Remember, this is just a template. It's giving you the opportunity to talk about and promote your bill in a way that's comfortable for you and that will allow individuals in youth and government to see and understand the point that you're trying to get across in your bill. So have fun with it, but make sure that you're adhering to this formula. If you do have any trouble or if you need to find a bill template or any of that information, you can go to our state website, which is New York State YMCA Youth and Government, and once you search, it'll come directly up on the screen as your first link. Once you click on there, you can look at Forms and Handbooks, scroll down, you'll see the memorandums, you'll see the bills, you'll see any template that you want. But as long as you use those resources and you follow these steps, you will be successful. Remember, Team New York, your bill is what you make it. So use the right tools that we've given you in these YouTube videos to do exactly what you want to do with your bill, and make it so that people know your name, people know your bill, and people know that you're from New York State.